So, yeah, right. So, first and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yoshai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. We say, Domnons apostles and elders, great Muslim, well, teachers of apostles in truth, and we say salutations, so the Akamas, pushing wooden on truth and sincerity day in and day out, and constantly in season and season, we say Shalom. And once again, going into our video here, and it's basically touching upon this post that's been put up here, and as you can see, there's also a video here talking about the particular situation, right? Now we're going into the time of what you would consider, we're going into one of the major pagan holidays, right, which is Easter, right? And if you go and look up what Easter is, you will understand that it is basically a holiday or a time that you're not supposed to be keeping, right? Because it go back to idolatry, right? It go back to a pagan god. Now, the churches are heavily into this, heavily into Easter. Just to say something else today, go and look up if a rabbit does lay eggs and come back. Go and look up if a rabbit does lay eggs. I was explaining to someone recently, and I was telling them that matter of fact, wasn't recently, it was just yesterday, and I was telling them about Easter. Easter is something that they're not supposed to keep, and I explained to him. I say, how a rabbit does make the young ones, and he was like, not by eggs. I say no. We started to laugh, right? So that is to show you how destroyed our people are, right? So, but nonetheless, so going into this post here, it said, guys, check your parents' wills. Apparently, the churches are offering will services to their older members, and in the process, willing their assets to the church, right? So let's go into this here. Go into this video here.
But I have a PSA for anyone with elderly parents who are also Christian or attend church. Last month, I was with my parents helping them plan out some end-of-life stuff, which is super weird and hard. And my mom was like, oh yeah, let's take a look at my will, so you know what's in it, and so we can see if we want to change anything. And then she tells me, oh, the church prepared this will for us for free. Oh, how kind of them. So the church provides this service, apparently, where they prepare a will for you. Luckily, you still take it to a lawyer to get it signed and finalized. So my mom's going over all this with a lawyer, and she notices not only had they pressured her at the time of preparing the will to give 10% of whatever was left over of her estate to the church, but there was something in there she didn't notice at the time they prepared it. And that was that they would leave the house to the church, a house that they've lived in for over 20 years, that they worked hard to pay off, that they would prefer to leave to their only child. The church snuck that in there, and of course my mom had the lawyer change it immediately. But I think there are a lot of folks out there who will not notice that, and it's super shady. Obviously, they knew that my parents had a child. I'm referenced in the beginning part of the will, and yet they still saw fit to take the house. Like their only offspring wouldn't want my childhood home? Anyway, if you have elderly parents who are Christian, if you just have parents who are Christian, ask them to look at their will. Ask them to double check it. Ask them if the church prepared it. Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
Once again, Christianity strikes. And once again, the blind shall lead the blind, and the boat shall fall into a ditch. Because you see, these people blindly follow these people in these churches and believe that they are holier than thou. You understand? There's the light and the darkness. These bishops, holders want to profess them to be. And these are the kind of things that have been going on for years, because this is not the first time I've been hearing about this. There are plenty of controversies over the years that have been heard about churches, basically robbing and stealing from the congregation. And they've been continually been doing that, right? Now, earlier in the start of the video, I mentioned Easter and so forth. Now, this is at times, as I said, churches are basically going to be packed with people, Easter time, so forth. And this is the kind of men that these people run to the church to follow. Robbers, con men, right? Mafia men, right? This is the men that they run to hear from the Lord, and basically what these men doing is robbing them. So the church of her parents make the will, and they was going to take the house. Now, as I said, this is so greedy that the Lord say call them what? The Lord say call them what? Greedy dogs, right? Greedy dogs, he call them, because this has been going on for years, and the more they have is the more they want. Right? There are plenty scenarios and plenty situations where congregation members have been robbed from the churches. Things have been taken away from them. Right? And this is just one of the many. Now, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 56, verse 10. It says, his watchmen are blind, they are all ignorant, they are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Right? It says verse 11, it says, yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. So as I say, yeah, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. And as you think about these pastors, these bishops and so on, right? Whether it be of a Jake church or of a Edomite church, it doesn't matter, they are all the same, right? They're just greedy, and they, what's his name? TD Jakes. You know, watch what's going on with him right now. His name is being called up in the PDD situation, right? And all these things. And what they feel he was getting from it, or other than the stuff that he's been doing in the background, is money, right? It's like greedy dogs. And I've heard many situations where from these churches that they made the congregation give them certain stuff. You've heard about situations where members of the church might have been passed away, and the stuff that they had have been given over to the pastor or to the pastor family or to the bishop or whoever it may be that's running the church at that particular time. And that's to show you how greedy these people are. That's why the Lord say, yeah, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. So everyone for his gain. And in another part of the video, she say like the church know that they had a child, right? They know her mother and her father had a child, and they still was going to take the house, yeah, because again, as it say, everyone for his gain. They don't really care about you. You understand? They would basically, right? They would basically take whatever it is you have for their own gain to give to their family, and that's how usually it goes. That's why the church, the pastor, his son, his daughter, his wife, they'll be driving the best, wearing the best, going on the best trips, flying out, all these things, showing off, matter of fact. And how they be doing it is by taking your money, because they are greedy dogs, and taking the things you all have. Now you have been seeing the trend of pastors going into real estate, dibbling and dabbling in houses and so on, right? And who could tell? Them was the houses that they have taken from members who have died and so on, giving them these wills, right? But again, as the scripture said, they are what? They are greedy dogs, right? It says verse 12, it says, come ye, say they, I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall be as the day, and much more abundant, right? So yeah, they sell them dreams, right? Now, just like particularly with these members in the churches, they so believe in the words of the pastor that they deny the word. Whatever it is the pastor say, it goes above to what it is the Lord say, right? So they abide by the word of the pastor more than the words of the Lord. So anything that the pastor tell them that they would believe, that they would follow, they believe that is the truth. This is what we are to hearken to. This is what we are to listen to, right? Let's just show you how destroyed these people are. Marie, it says based off the replies, it looks like some funeral homes also do this. To be honest, you all just have to go through an end of life assessment with your elders to know if they are faced. Now, funeral homes is usually linked to our church. If you all don't know, you can go and look it up. And so the services is a reason why the funeral home is asking if you were the a pastor and so forth, because they have one on standby. They all link together, right? Say also, just to make sure there's clear language in their wills, the state who is in charge of making decisions if when they are unable to spend months buried in cause, and people trying to become my mother's executor of estate when she was in a coma before she passed away. So basically what went on, this person Mosey went through that situation. It's the executor of estate is after the person has passed. Court appointed guardianship is while the person is still alive, but incapacitated, unable to make decisions on their own. I did both. Right, so this was person giving an advice, right? So this person commented here, this is accurate. Didn't happen to me, but happened to a co-worker of mine. We worked at a law firm, and she couldn't find any way to undo what had clearly been predatory influence in her father's later years by the church community. He left money of one grandchild, but everything else, including property and vehicles, was left to a church he had barely attended for a few years when he was near death. It was horrific to see it unravel, because my co-worker was truly shocked by it. There was no warning he was that involved with the church. Now, if it's one thing to realize is that when someone's coming close to the death, all of us there's one to be saved. And these pastors and these church people is actually sell them dreams like, you know what, if you give this, the Lord go make a way for you into the kingdom. So they themselves be lying to these people, right? They be lying to the people to get what they want. That is what the scripture say. Each man to his own gain, right? This is the book of Titus chapter 1. I'll go read from verse 7, right? It says, for a bishop must be blameless as the steward of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre, right? So one time when you look at the meaning of the word lucre, it says what? It says lucre, right? It says money, especially when regarded as sordid or distasteful, or gain in a dishonorable way. So one time it's a bishop, you're not supposed to be getting money this particular way. And watch how these churches have been doing it for years, doing it by wills, lying to the members, the eligible members, to make them believe that you know what, the way into the kingdom secured. We know that they wouldn't be teaching who's Israel and who's Esau, right? Right? But rather take it as it doesn't matter which church is, any church that would be doing these things, right? So the scripture is literally telling you, and if you're following these men, right, that are doing these things, then you yourself off. Because it said not given to wine, nor striker, not given to filthy lucre. And again, filthy lucre means what? It's a money especially regarded as sordid or distasteful or gained in a dishonorable way. And one time, a bishop not supposed to be like that. He's supposed to be gaining money in a dishonorable way. And watch how they doing it by making people sign wills, and many other forms of ways that they would introduce to get people money, right? So you're supposed to be staying away from them, not going to them, not listening to them, not hearkening on to them. You understand? This is 1 Timothy chapter 3. I'll go read from verse 8. Verse 8. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 8. No. Yeah. Likewise must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre. Right? Not greedy of filthy lucre. And what is this here? So the scripture is telling how a bishop or a pastor, how they would be, an elder of the church supposed to be. But these men, they're so off that his Lord call them greedy dogs. They say from such, stay away from them. You understand? Stay away from them. Jump to our next scripture here. This is 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 5. They say perverse disputants of men of corrupt minds. They didn't say men of good minds, they say men of corrupt minds. Right? And destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. So withdraw thyself from them. Because again, they would have all these things. These churches, they're not taxable. You understand? And they get so much money that, again, you see the kind of things that the pastors and the family would own. The best of the best. Right? But they would still want more. And they would still tell you to give them more. And if you can give them more, they will make you feel like if you're doing something wrong, like if you're off and all these things. And that's how they must made this person feel here. Right? So it says perverse disputants of men of corrupt minds. Corrupt minds. They say, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. But godliness with contentment is great gain. They say, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. But you see, the pride of this life is what has made these pastors do these. One of the things that made the pastor do these things, because there's one to battle church for church. Pastor versus pastor, who are the most? But the scripture say, from such withdraw thyself. So let me just read some of these accounts and then I'll close off. It says, been a practice in the Mormon communities for a hot minute. You get pressured if you don't tithe enough. It's never enough. And I'm told you need to sign over your home and assets. So yeah. So I see destroys generational wealth and housing security. Now again, as I said, I've heard certain scenarios about this in real life. It's this person, Mark, I used to work in estates and trusts, and we had this one client who died with one stepkid and his dead wife's nieces. He left them each like 5,000 and then left his church 350,000. That's just to show you what it is. You see, this person, Mark, other churches scam still look out for. Yeah, this is too real. Another version of the scam is when church offer deed and mortgage services. And again, as I said, I've heard many things like this before, right? So hey, and I believe didn't IUIC start some of these services now? Hey, nonetheless. So let's give all praises, honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yoshai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. We say double on apostles and elders agreements and well teachers or apostles in the truth. And we say salutations, so the Akamas representing word on the truth and sincerity day in and day out. Constantly in season and season we say Shalom.